Happy Friday. Hugh and Lisa here, you guys. Thanks for joining and tuning in on today's Real Estate Rants and Jaunts. Oh, it's Friday.
Nice to have it. Nice to have it. How you doing, Lisa?
I am fantastic today, actually.
Good.
I stepped out of the office, and those of you who do in-office work, take the time out to catch some sun if you have the opportunity. I know depending on the weather, wherever you are, but to step out and stretch your legs. I had the opportunity to stretch out and stretch my body, and I needed that. It felt good. So good stuff, good stuff. Oh my gosh. So Hugh and I'm really happy about what we'll do today, actually, especially because we've got a great workflow happening, and we're working for our seller clients, we're working for our buyer clients, we're working for our investor clients. So we want to continue to be added value, not just to our clientele, but to those of you who connect with us on the World Wide Web. Is that true, Hugh?
Yeah, I guess that's the way to put it. A really good way to put it. And I guess we're both having a really good day today because it's Friday and we had a reasonably productive week. We sort of did a few things and learned a few things, and we went to a great seminar this week.
Right. I did a Facebook Live. For those of you who caught that Facebook Live I shared an event that we attended on Monday at the Westin Los Angeles near LAX. And that was by invitation.
Sherry Bailey for inviting us, making it happen, keeping us well educated and well abreast of what's happening in the market.
Right. So what else is happening? Did you want to share anything else to get into our topic of the day, which is the value of home staging? So logistics, you guys, be sure to like, subscribe, share the page so someone can tune in and get some added value in terms of selling the real estate. Hey, Eric, thanks for chiming in. He says, I like it. He says he's going out now and you get to build with us. So great. Thanks, Eric, for chiming in and sharing. You guys take a moment to share the page. So today we're going to be talking about, and I shared this. Let me drop this here. Let me bring the image up for you guys. It was, boom.
It is. The value of home, it works wonders for both buyer and seller. But this is really from a selling point of view, but it has such long-term effect. As sellers in this market, a lot of time people don't understand the significance of the probably 5 to 15% added value that they will get by staging your home. And it doesn't have to be an expenditure. It can be as little as cleaning up, decluttering, doing a nice fresh coat of paint, changing the doorknobs and the light fixtures. Simple things like that are really inexpensive, that can have long-term benefit as far as showing your property and having people look at it in a whole different light. Please?
Yeah, I'm just okay, good. That's much better. Because the banner there is like cutting across my face. I've noticed that in a couple of videos. So the value of home staging. So here's what we've noticed, and this year some statistics, and I'll just read it off for you on your phone. You can't really see what it says, but it is on the timeline that Hugh and I have shared. And it says 59% of agents say home staging increases dollar value a seller receives, while 37% greatly decrease time on market. Again, home staging decreases the time of that property being on the market. And then there's a 21% increase for offers by 6 to 10%. and 23% slightly decrease of the listing time. The listing time, and that's where we come into play. So Eric has a question. Thanks Eric for engaging. He says, how about having too many plants and flowers? Hugh, oh my gosh, that's like totally for you.
Well, there can be too many, especially if they're inside the house. You should strategically place them in spaces that are empty or in corners so that they don't infringe on the actual volume of space. You don't want to plant in the middle of your house that's like taking over. Definitely not. And that's the same thing for the shrubbery and the trees that surround your home as well. Manicured, well taken care of. And guys, you're selling your home. I know that you're wanting to move on. So then take that extra time and water that brown grass. Turn it green. If you know you're going to sell your home, start 3 to 4 weeks ahead. Start watering the grass, fertilize it so it looks wonderful. Curve appeal. That's instant gratification. That's what starts the buyer's juices flowing when they see your home. They say, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. Curve appeal, curve appeal.
So we hear that all the time in terms of curb appeal. And gosh, when I think about that, I don't know why I had this, like I just thought how many years I've been in this industry and think about curb appeal has been still consistently one of those things that are going to set you apart from everything else that's available on the market. Hugh mentioned some words. Thanks, Dan. Dan's chiming in. He says, great topic. So please be sure to share, you guys. One of the things that I think about as we do a consult with our seller clients is the preparation. And yes, there are some people who, for instance, may be in a pre-foreclosure scenario, or what are the other scenarios where there isn't that much planning time? And that's what I really want to get across, that when we're talking about planning for more value in your home, that's strategically having a conversation before that listing actually gets marketed across the World Wide Web. And it does, because once we use services like the multiple listing service and any of the third-party websites, that gets fed all across the world. And so there has to be a planning strategy that, through meeting with us or your agent or your professional, in terms of how are we going to market this property for the best and the most value, giving whatever your time frame is. So I'm really happy about this topic, because it's one of the things that Hugh and I, especially from first impressions, he mentioned about the buyer seeing certain things and getting excited about that. And that comes from first impressions, you guys. What you guys are setting out in terms of the front yard, the backyard, oh my gosh. And you mentioned decluttering, and there's just certain things about a can of paint with making sure you get the nooks and the crannies, the doorways, little things like that do translate to a tremendous amount in terms of impression. And that for us translates to dollars for you, that net bottom line, right? Netting what you're anticipating to get from a seller, as a seller who's selling their property. So any other questions? Eric brought, I mean, that was a great point when he talks about plants, because we just passed a property yesterday, actually, Hugh, if you remember, the listing that we looked at was on the market, and there was tons of shrubbery and plants and trees in the front yard, and the new owner actually chopped all that out. And I'm sure they negotiated based on presentation. I mean, if it was cleaned up and it was in pristine condition and presentation, that's just the front yard alone. That, I'm sure, impacted the bottom line. And actually it did. When I look at it, Hugh, I believe it actually, that property sold for about $46,000 less than the asking price. That's a lot. I'm saying there may definitely been other factors, but again, first impressions, I walk in and I've got bushes and leaves and twigs and trees hitting me in the face while I'm trying to make it to the front door, that's not really going to work out for the best for you. So great question on the plants and flowers. And I tossed that to Hugh because he knows a lot when it comes to maintenance of landscaping and yard. That really impresses me because he also really will do recommendations in terms of how to maintain certain types of grass. And I always am impressed when he talks about grass, you guys. This brother knows, he knows it's green. He knows it's green. And he has quite a vegetation that he grows himself. So that's important. So when he just said to you, even though you're moving and you've got a yard that's turning brown, yeah, just a couple more weeks, water the yard, make sure. And I just want to reiterate, and then I'll have Hugh expand on this again. Eric says he was impressed with your sugar cane.
Ah! Thanks, thank you.
Exactly. So one of the things that he mentioned in terms, so depending on where your budget is for staging. So one of the things that this article points out says you can either pay for staging. We can recommend. Oftentimes that's something we'll put together because I know Hugh and I, we've done it with the property owner's furniture. Yeah, with their furniture, and we'll tell them you can keep this furniture. We'll use some of the big pieces, and we'll definitely leave it and stage because the vision for that potential buyer to see themselves there, number one, and two, it's for them to envision what goes in that space. So, and that's so huge, especially when we go into these great remodeled properties. And then, yes, it's wonderful to say delivered vacant. There's no contingencies. We don't have to wait for the seller to move out. However, but you have a lot of this blank canvas that most people don't have quite a vision for. Hugh, would you expand on that for us?
So and I'm glad you brought that up. Staging is basically what we in the industry consider gravity. It holds a space together. So when you're thinking about selling your home, it should just be a minimal amount of stuff. You don't want you to be there. You just want items to be there that will give the next person to use this canvas an idea of where to begin. So always think less tends to be more. And if you ever look at any of the shows or anything else, they very really have spaces that are full with items. It's just minimal stuff. In addition to this, try to depersonalize this. If you have generic pictures, you can go to any one of the inexpensive stores and get $7, $8 pictures that are like 16 by 20, 30 by 40, and take down those personal pictures and put those up. You just want to show a concept of art in the space. Those kind of things sort of generate, I can be here, I want to be here. So it's really sort of, you should always talk to the professional, your professional, but think in that way, because what you're doing is just opening up a canvas so that the next person can have an idea of what to use on it.
Exactly. Great point. Great point. And this is all really has been hands-on for us in terms of what we've seen over the course of property condition, the pre-marketing of that property before and after, and all of that really matters. I really like that you talked about art, because especially when we're talking about staging, we got to
make sure we say generic art.
Generic art, right? Generic art, but also I also read in another article, Hugh, that talked about staging for a particular demographic. So as I notice, more of the younger generation, we are into the culture and the eclectic and the art. So when the home is presented in that light, I'm already what? I'm emotionally vested in
That's what you
that
want.
this
That is
property can
exactly what you
offer
want.
me a lifestyle experience that I see myself in. And therefore, I'm more inclined to not only submit an offer, but now I want to definitely bid up or outbid anyone else who may be considering this property. So that's really good. Eric says a table and a vase home show coming up here in St. Louis. Okay, very cool, very cool. Yeah. So it's one of those important things, you guys. And if you have the window to plan it, and this is why you hire a professional, right? This is what separates those of us who are in the business of doing this. It is the planning and the marketing, the design, and we have customized packages and plans and programs for various types of sellers. We have those for the usually first-time seller. We have our seller's choice program. We have an investor program. We have those who are making that transition from selling multiple single families to this is a portfolio for them, and they already will have some furniture and stuff stocked up that we can use for staging. And then you have developers who do these larger projects, and they will invest in having a staging company come out and do that, because oftentimes too, what we don't talk about in staging is that the furniture gets sold as part of the deal, as part of the package. Clients say, I
Definitely.
like it like it is, I want it all.
There it is. And also remember, as far as the staging concept, once your property goes online, it is viewed in comparison to the hundreds of other properties. Now, it's a simple concept. If you don't do it, somebody else will. And the somebody that will get it done gets their property sold first.
Right,
So
right.
always remember, I know you are committed to your property and, oh, I love my home. I've done this, I've done that, but sort of separate yourself from that to sort of look at a bigger picture of how do I fit in with the other properties that are in this same sort of genre, same field, same price line, and where do I fit in?
And this is exactly, and I'm just going to do this plug. This is exactly why we do a free marketing analysis to see where your home compares to everything else on the market. You can actually see photos, pictures, features, bedrooms comparably or compared to your property. Here's what it's sold for, here's what's active, and here's what's pending. Here's what didn't sell too. That's important, right? I love when Hugh
Of
does that,
course.
because he loves to include here's what was on the market and it didn't sell, it sat, and possibly here's some factors, right? Either it's overpriced, it wasn't staged, it wasn't well presented. So those are all important in terms of when you're planning, and staging is, I think, is a very important component. Here we're going to wrap up staging and we're going to bring on what we're actually looking for our buyer clients. We do have a couple, so we're going to feature every week. We do have fortunately a handful of buyers that we are working with who are in the market to buy. They are either investors or pre-approved buyers who can close within 30 days or less. Am I correct, Hugh?
Yeah, definitely. Within 21 days or less. So they're ready to go. They're most of the time when we take a buyer, they have already been sort of underwritten. So we know that they're qualified, they're ready to go, and we can close.
Got it. So I just threw it up on the screen, you guys, if you can check it out. So we actually have a client who has a VA loan, and those are a great loan program for our veterans. And so we are looking to help one of our veteran
We have
clients
seven.
yes, but the one I'm featuring today, we are talking about, who's got a price range of up to about, what did I put here?
790.
790,000, right? 790,000. Because of the type of loan, we will need one of the units vacant for owner occupancy, and the remainder of the units can be rented. And so I did put what area we were looking for. So Los Angeles area in the zip codes of 918, 943, 908. If you're not in that area or you may know someone, please tag, like, and share, and say, hey, these Hugh and Lisa are looking for a client who's ready to go. And we were under contract, didn't work out, and so we're still looking for him. And Hugh, would you share? Do you have that up, or do you want me to read it up? I don't know if you have the other one.
The other veteran vets.
No. So, well, we do have another veteran, but I did put another price point for 479,000 to about 590,000 in the Los Angeles area. Zip codes 944, 947, 962. So that's they're open to a single family or a duplex. So single family, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, and a duplex, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. And so this client can go either way. So again, if you know someone, please let them know that Hugh and Lisa have buyers who are looking. And if you yourself are interested in selling your property and it meets that criteria, or you deem it an opportunity for you to make a transition of either downsizing or upgrading, we invite you to contact us, right, Hugh? Plug.
Phone number 323-348-1222, 323-348-1222. And wait a minute, to our other veteran buyers, we have quite a few. We're not leaving you out. We just decided to highlight these 2 today. Please, we have other veterans ready to go. And once they see it, I hope you don't feel that we've slighted you, but we will add you in next week's show.
I think that works either way. Well, right, because it's a different location for those buyers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is something new. I really liked that we can use our platform to share what our buyer clients are working for, because oftentimes you see people presenting sellers and they're beautiful, lovely homes. And here we're saying, look, you may have something that's off the market, or you may be watching us or know someone who hasn't quite decided, but maybe you might be inclined to work with us and work with our clients who are actually ready to go, and they are in the market to do something within the next 30 days. So again, Hugh and Lisa here on our Friday Real Estate Rants and Jaunts, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks, you guys.
Have a wonderful weekend and a fantastic upcoming week.